Have you ever met a man who seemed absolutely perfect, so caring and sweet that you thought love at 60 had finally knocked on your door? And yet, just when you were lost in that belief, he suddenly pulled away, becoming distant, cold, and no longer investing in the relationship, leaving you wondering deep inside, what did I do wrong? The truth is, it's not necessarily that you did anything wrong. Many women believe men fall in love because of beauty, kindness, or the things they bring into the relationship. But after years of watching love spark and then fade, I've realized that has never been the whole story. Because after 60, men don't fall in love simply for what you give them, but for how they feel when they're with you. If one of their core emotional needs isn't met, they quietly withdraw. For men, love is not just about compatibility or physical attraction. It's about the emotions you awaken in them. The feeling of safety, of respect, and even the sense of challenge that only you can inspire. Welcome back to Journey After 60. In today's video, I'll reveal the 3 hidden things men truly need before they can open their hearts to love. And if you've ever wondered how men really fall in love after 60, stay with me, because what you're about to hear may completely change the way you see them. Before we dive in, if what I share today reminds you of your own journey of love after 60, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe and share this video with a friend who could use a little hope in their heart. And now, let's begin with the most misunderstood need, the one that makes him crave you, pursue you, and hold on to you as if you were the most precious treasure in his world. Number 1. He needs to pursue something worthwhile. Men carry a hunter's instinct, not in the literal sense of prehistoric times, but on an emotional level. They value what they have to pursue, what they must earn, and what feels rare. This doesn't mean you have to play games, act distant, or manipulate him. No, it's simply the truth. A man will love more deeply when he feels he has to make an effort to win your heart, rather than that love being handed to him on a silver platter. Think about it. If something comes too easily, if it's just waiting there without requiring any effort, will he truly cherish it, or will it quietly fade into the background? This isn't just true of love in our 20s. It's just as real and often even stronger after 60. When a man feels he has to try, to show up, and to prove himself to win the heart of a woman he respects and admires, something powerful happens inside him. He invests more, he values more, and he stays for the long run. I'm reminded of my friend Nancy, who met a widower named Jack at a local book club. Jack was charming, and Nancy liked him too, but she didn't drop everything to revolve around his world. She kept her Wednesday art classes, her morning walks with friends, and her Sunday dinners with family. Jack had to plan ahead if he wanted to see her. He had to step into her world instead of expecting her to always be available for his. And you know what happened? He began to treasure every moment with her even more. He didn't just want to be around Nancy. He respected the life she had built. That respect deepened his feelings, and in time, it became the foundation of their relationship. What people often call hard to get at this stage of life doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means you have your own life, your own rhythm, and your own joys that you're not willing to give up just to keep someone close. It means showing him that while you welcome his presence, you don't depend on it to define who you are. That is your value. And when that value is recognized, a man will guard it fiercely. In Love After 60, I've seen men light up when they realize they've found something rare, something that cannot easily be replaced. That is the difference between a passing distraction and a lifelong treasure. Men don't fall in love with what comes too easily. They fall in love with what they must nurture, protect, and hold dear. This is the first thing men truly need in a woman at this stage of life. Not someone to chase for the thrill of the hunt, but someone worth keeping once he has caught her. Do you believe men value love more when they have to put in the effort? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know if that's been part of your own journey in finding love after 60. And once a man knows he's found something worth holding on to, what he needs next goes even deeper. It speaks to the very core of how he feels about his own worth. Number 2, feeling admired, not controlled. People often assume that love is enough to keep a man's heart, but here's a truth many overlook. A man would rather be respected without love than loved without respect. And in dating after 60, this truth carries even more weight. By this stage in life, most men have experienced enough to know the difference between a partner who uplifts them and one who attempts to manage or mold them. Many relationships that start with warmth and connection slowly fade not because the love disappears, but because admiration quietly slips away. For men, especially those in their later years, admiration is as essential as affection. It's the emotional equivalent of oxygen. You can say, "I love you," every day, but if he never hears, "I respect you," or "I admire the way you handled that," his spirit will begin to close off. Without that quiet sense of being valued for who he is and what he contributes, love can start to feel less like a gift and more like an expectation. If you want to nurture this in your relationship, especially in Love After 60, start by recognizing his efforts, not just his achievements. Notice the small things, the way he fixes something without being asked, how he brings humor into heavy moments, or the way he shows up for you in quiet, consistent ways. Offer appreciation not just in private, but sometimes in public too, not to inflate his ego, but to let him know that he is seen. And unless he asks for your input or help to change something, resist the urge to improve him. The goal isn't to shape him, but to remind him that he is already enough. When a man feels admired, without feeling controlled, he opens up in a way that deepens trust, softens defenses, and makes love feel safe again. As the philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, "The heart has its reasons, which reason knows nothing of." That kind of heart-led connection requires more than logic or effort. It requires mutual admiration that is given freely and sincerely. At this stage in life, respect is not about hierarchy. It's about letting the other person know, "I see you, and I'm grateful for you, exactly as you are." And when a man feels that kind of acceptance, he becomes more generous with his time, his vulnerability, and his love. But even admiration, as important as it is, still needs something else to keep love from growing heavy, and that's where we turn next. Number 3, emotional playfulness. When was the last time you laughed so hard with someone that the outside world seemed to disappear? When we talk about dating after 60, we often focus on stability, seriousness, and emotional maturity. And while those are essential, here's the truth. Without lightness, even the deepest connections can begin to feel heavy. Older men have spent decades carrying responsibility, pressure, and unspoken expectations. So, in love later in life, playfulness isn't childish, it's healing. It's a return to something innocent. It's that spark that reminds him life still holds joy, and with you, he can step outside the weight of the world, even for a little while. As the philosopher Nietzsche once said, "In every real man, a child is hidden that wants to play." That hidden child doesn't disappear with age. It just waits for the right person to coax it back out. When a man over 60 meets a woman who can laugh with him, tease him gently, and turn everyday moments into tiny adventures, he doesn't just see her as a companion, she becomes his safe harbor of joy. Without that lightness, relationships can slip into patterns of obligation and predictability. With it, he feels alive again, and that sense of aliveness becomes part of how he loves and stays in love. The beauty of dating at this stage is that playfulness doesn't need grand gestures. It might be an inside joke, a silly nickname, or a spontaneous dance in the kitchen. It's not about what you do, it's about how it makes him feel. Reminded that together, the two of you can still laugh in ways no one else quite understands. And when it comes to what older men truly want from a woman before they fall in love, that feeling is priceless. Sometimes it's those goofy little moments that keep love fresh, even after decades. If joy has played a role in your own love story later in life, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. These memories have a way of reminding all of us to keep our hearts a little lighter. Because after the laughter fades, something even deeper begins to grow. The trust to be fully seen, and the safety to show every part of who you are. And that is where we're headed next. So, when you look at these three needs together, his desire to pursue something meaningful, his longing to feel admired without being controlled, and his deep appreciation for emotional playfulness, you begin to see that love after 60 isn't about finding someone perfect. It's about building a space where both hearts can finally rest. It's a space where a man feels the quiet thrill of earning something rare, the pride of becoming his best self, the breath of being truly seen and valued, the laughter that lifts the weight of the world, and the rare comfort of simply being himself. This is the gift we can offer one another in these later chapters of life. Not just companionship, but the kind of connection that makes ordinary moments feel brighter, softer, and more meaningful. Because in the end, it's not grand gestures or perfect timing that sustain love. It's the quiet consistency, a look that says, "I see you," a touch that says, "I'm here," a silence that says, "You're safe with me." In mature love, we carry both the weight and the wisdom of the years behind us. We've learned what can be lost, and we've come to understand just how precious it is to find someone who makes the time ahead feel more alive. If these thoughts stirred something in your heart, I hope you'll hold on to them. Not as rules to follow, but as seeds to plant in the rich, honest soil of your own journey through love after 60. Thank you for spending this time with me. And if today's conversation offered you a new perspective on love after 60, I'd be so grateful if you'd like this video and subscribe to the channel, so we can continue sharing these gentle, honest reflections on the kind of love that only grows deeper with time. Until we meet again, keep your heart soft, your spirit curious, and your arms open, for love is still out there, waiting to find you. See you in my next video.